Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to Raw Knuckles Podcast. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Hey, what's up, everybody? Knuckles here. Listen, it's been over a year we've been doing the Raw Knuckles Podcast, and boy, has time flown. I can't believe it. We've had some great guests, some great moments, some funny moments, some awkward moments, some emotional moments. So we put together the best clips over the past year, and I hope you enjoy.
When I stepped on the ice, I never backed down, and I never stayed down.
And I was vicious, and I was malicious, and I don't care.
I'm alive. He's a freaking madman. Look at him going to town.
Kelly, one last one. The Nick Nolte night. Tell me about the Nick Nolte night.
Nick Nolte, you got to remind me, Nick Nolte's been over a few times.
You went over his house one night, and you left there.
To his place.
Yeah.
Yeah, he drugged me. Nick Nolte drugged me with some kind of liquid drink that he mixed into my bottle of water. Yeah, so anyway, I took a sip of this water, and about a half hour later, I was, kind of off a little bit and lightheaded. So I said, "What the F did you give me?" He goes, "I told you to sip it." I go, "Sip my ass. What did you give me?" I forget what it was. It wasn't, I don't know. He carried it around all. Anyway, so he goes, "Well, let's go for a walk in my garden." So I couldn't even walk. I was tripping. It felt like I did acid. I've never done acid either, but I've seen movies. But yeah, and he, whatever he'd given me, it didn't last long. But man, he was a character, this guy. He used to walk around. He did this movie, and he was Benjamin Franklin, so I think he never, ever came out of character. He walked around Malibu in a robe, and he carried 2 big water bottles filled with that stuff, and he was just tripping all the time. But real nice guy, really interesting fella. He thought he was a doctor. Like, he actually, thought he was a doctor, and his house had a lab in there, and he called it all protocol, and it was something, this guy. But yeah, he's still in Malibu. Unfortunately, his house burned down in that last big fire. But I'll see him occasionally. He's a great guy. He's a beauty.
When you see him, do you bring up, like, you remember when you drugged me?
No, never bring that up. But we talk. Like, for some reason he was in Pittsburgh the year we won the Cup. And I ran into him in a hotel there, and right away we recognized each other. He's really good friends and close with John Cusack, so that's how we actually met.
I saw Jim McKenzie the other night at the other afternoon at the Flyers game. Jim McKenzie, one of 2 guys that ever thanked me for giving him a penalty, and it's an awesome story. And Jim was big enforcer. He fought. The very first time he saw Knux, he was mesmerized by Chris Nyland as he's walking in the building. Like, Chris is like his idol, his hero as a fighter. And Big Jim, 6'3", 230 pounds, but an honest heavyweight, but a really nice guy. And so his second year of pro, he's playing for the Hartford Whalers. I've got the last game of the season, Washington, in the old Cap Center. Nothing happens. We get the game over with. Everybody wants to just get into the playoffs. All the Ricky Lee and the coach of the Whalers and all the players, all the stick boys, trainers, everybody off the ice at the Zamboni entrance except Big Jim and I. We step off on the mat together. He looks down at me. He said, "Kerry, if I told you to F off, would you give me a misconduct?" I looked up. I said, "Jim, what are you talking about?" I said, "The game's over. Regular season's over. Nobody's mad." Now, he gave me a little fib here, and I'll correct it. But he said to me at the time, "I got a bonus in my contract for penalty minutes, and I'm 4 PIMs short, and the coach never played me 1 shift." I looked up and I said, "What'd you say?" Very quietly, he said, "F off." I yelled at him, "Say it like you mean it." He yelled, "Fuck off." I said, "You got 10. He said, "Thank you." And he walked to the dressing room. We laughed about it again the other day.
That's nice of you, though. Yeah, that's good.
You're a good guy. You're a good
so
guy.
Here's the real deal. He fibbed me on it. He was 196 penalty minutes, and all of his were for like 5-minute majors for fighting. Other guys were getting talking penalties and match penalties, and they were padding, they had a pretty good number of penalty minutes. Him as a bona fide heavyweight, he wanted to get over the 200-minute mark. I helped him out. Tim, as aggressive as you are, I could have helped you out with,
Oh, I
some
could have
penalty
used
minutes.
you for sure. For sure. I mean, I might have had 10 minutes my whole career, but
Let's get back to your living room when you're a kid and the Habs are on. What is that like? Is it total chaos? Is it like passion? The love of the organization, Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
It really comes through, obviously, in your book. And I read your book. And just what is that like for, I guess, for the people? Give them a little window into that living room, if you could.
Yeah. So it is like, it's like, whenever someone's like, how long do you remember the first time or any of that shit that you watched the Habs or something like that? I say, do you remember the first time that you saw sunlight? Like it's just ever present in my life was typically my dad, often my dad and my mom, in front of the TV watching the guys in red beating the bad guys, and I like, so what that typically was like, my dad would, he liked the commentary on the radio better than it was on TV. So he would find it on TV and then he would turn on our like hi-fi thing that he built and put together, that one of those great old school, like late 70s, early 80s ones with every beautiful knob. And he would put on the radio to match the screen on TV. And then he would just curse a blue streak through 3 periods of hockey every single game without fail. Like I there's a reason I put in my book that like that Christmas Eve that he fucked up of ours where like, my mom has my sister and I in the other room reading, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas and The Gift of the Magi to us. And my dad's watching the Habs in their bedroom and yeah, it was like in a crazy weird bit of like comic timing in a music that was entirely like as if God had a sense of humor. My mom would read a line and then my dad would swear at the game and it timed out fucking perfectly where she would go, "'Twas the night before Christmas," and all through the house, God damn it! Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. You fucking lazy fuck! Shit! Blow the fucking whistle! Skate, you fucking prick!
The next group that comes in is Spano. And this guy he's a beauty, boy. I mean, he is.
So it goes from bad to worse.
Yes, bad to worse. My Spano story, it's a podcast, so I can go this far. I'm sitting at home and, it's like 10 o'clock at night. I get a call. John is at the Garden City Hotel. He's in the bar there. And he said, "I want you to come over and, meet me." So it's pretty odd. It's like late, but anyway, so I get over to the bar and he's got this little roped off area like he's king of Persia or something, right?
Grand Poobah.
Yeah, exactly. So he starts to talk for a little while. He's talking about hockey. And then he leans over and says to me, "They'll be here in a little while." I said, "What do you mean, John?" He said, "The girls. First they'll do each other, then they'll do us." This is the owner.
Yahoo!
Yeah. So I got
Sounds
out
like
of there.
Jerry Buss, right? Was Jerry Buss's hero?
Yeah.
Must have been.
I snuck out the back door and, that was the end of that. But he didn't last too long.
Kevin Constantine.
how was that?
Was he a prick?
He was intense. Like I don't know if you've done video. You haven't done video until you've been a player for Kevin Constantine, where he would give us tests every week on the plays. So he would give us a playbook and you got a big one at the beginning of the year and you had to memorize every single page. And after every week we would have tests and I was smart. I would ace all my tests, but if you didn't know the plays, you wouldn't play. And I don't care if you're a first rounder. I don't care if you're Benoit Pouliot or Roman Voloshenko or these guys. You wouldn't play.
Like what place? Like what place? Like, come on. This isn't
every
rocket science. This isn't
ice,
football.
Yes, it is rocket science.
Okay.
So Kevin Constantine. Like every single inch of the ice, you have to be accountable. If the puck's stumped in the corner, if the puck's this, like 5-on-5, 4-on-4, 5-on-4, penalty kill, like everything. Like he has a spot for you to be every single.
There's
every
a guy out there that's
play.
like, I could have played more, but I couldn't read.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I would have had more games, but I couldn't read. And it's like, gee.
Oh, man.
I'll never forget that day. It was 1979-80. I was No, it was 78, 79, sorry, playoffs. And I was drafted by the Montreal Canadiens. We went to your morning practice and watched the Bruins practice. Then we watched you guys. And then afterwards, I'm with my friend Franny Flaherty in a big Lincoln Continental. And Lincoln Mach 5, big white, big canoe it was. And we pulled up, we saw you, Guy Lafleur, and Gilles Lupien on the corner waiting for a cab. And we pull over and say, hey, you guys want to ride? They kind of looked at us like, we sure we want to get in with these two? They look like they could rob us maybe. But I remember I was all proud because here I am in Montreal. I'm drafted by the Canadiens. And you guys get in. And I go, hey, we've started talking a little bit. We're going to give you a ride to the Hyatt Regency in Cambridge. And I said, I'm going to play with you guys next year up there. And you guys, you said to me, oh, yeah? How are you going to do that? And I said, well, I was drafted by you guys. I play here at Northeastern University, and I was drafted by the Canadiens last year. And you said, what round were you drafted? And I said, the 17th. And the three started laughing right in my face, and I'm like, oh, my God. I had no concept of, it didn't matter to me if it was the first round or the 17th round. I was drafted. I was so happy. You remember that day, right?
Sure. You know what? That day was special in a way because you meet a lot of people, when you play hockey. And he was not the first that say, I'm going to play for Montreal Canadiens. But this guy said, I'm going to play for Montreal next year. Yeah. That was special. And that was my last year. I went to Europe, and when I came back, I went to see the boys 2 years after. I went to see the boys at in the dressing room. And who comes behind me? I look at him, and he says, I told you that I was going to play for Montreal. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing because if that was me and you guys were the moment you guys laughed, I would have just my career would have been over.
You would have quit.
Yeah, I would have quit.
Chris was beefing with Michael Connell because they said they should suspend his family, take the money out of his pocket. Chris hasn't seen Michael Connell to training camp. Chris tells Michael Connell how he feels. Assistant coach.
Mike was a coach.
Yep. Played in the NHL for a lot of years.
I played against him.
And when Chris hit Rick Middleton, OC made all these comments. Well, Chris happens to see OC, and he's the number one assistant for the Bruins. Chris basically tells him to go fuck himself, blah, 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 in his own words. Later on, something else happened. I'm sitting there watching Clemens' second time he had all those strikeouts. I'm with you. Remember that? At the Bostonian Hotel. Michael Connell walks in with his wife. The wife went to the bathroom. He's seen Chris. He fucking did a 360 right out of it. As quick as I see like fucking Gretzky do a 360. Like, Connell's gone. The wife come out, where is he? Where'd he go? She seen Chris. She go, I figured out. Wait, when I go downstairs. Remember that, Chris?
Yeah. He badmouthed me. He said they should take my money and hurt my family and this and that. And my mother called me that fucking Michael Connell. So I got traded to Boston.
I know.
And I'm in signing a contract, and I saw him in the front office. And he came up. He says, "Hey, hey, fuck you!
Yeah.
Don't come and be fucking nice to me now, because I'm here after what you fucking had to say about me."
Yeah.
Oh,
I
so
know.
it didn't start off too good.
No,
in
that's
Boston
not great.
with me and Mike.
That's why I always say Knuckles wanted to be a Bruin because he grew up with it. He was always a Canadian. He should never come to. He was just. Chris had guys yelling in the stands. We had guys knocking guys out in the stands for him. Yeah, section 27, fucking in the loads. We got Frankie the Fixer up there. Fucking yelling Island section. Frankie the Fixer, load 7. Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, right there. Bang, he's out for.
Somebody gets suckered.
Yeah, somebody's getting suckered. There's no way to get suckered. Frankie, God rest his soul, Fix. Grandstand, the balcony. Seat 7. Yeah, the nitwit the hat on. Oh, get him. Boom, he's out now. When guys getting whacked like they're getting hit with guns.
All he said was like, skate.
Yes.
I got a great story with Knux, though.
Knux has told me to ask you that.
Did he? Yeah, Knux is, that was real nice.
You're not supposed to rat me out, Tim, already.
Well, I don't know what this place is. I don't even know if I pronounced it right.
Knux has joined our team at the end of the year, and Burnsy's our coach. And I was in and out of the lineup that year anyway, and I wasn't dressed that night. And we have a game, and you do the things. You go in there, you ride the bike, you watch the last 2 periods, and guys are done. Congratulations, whatever. Knux like, hey kid, come with me. Come on, we're gonna go have a beer. And so I go with Knux. We go to Shea, get a beer, and we're sitting there. And then Burnsy walks in, and Knux grabs my leg. He goes, "Do not leave, kid. You do not leave." So he goes, buy him a beer, go over, say hello, and then walk out. So I did that. I thought everything was going to be cool. The next day I get called into the office. He's like, "Kid, what are you doing anyway? You're not even in the lineup, and you're out there." And I get the first person I walk into a bar, and I see you. And he goes, "We're sending you down to Fredericton."
You end up going, I went the prep school route. I went to Northwood School. I looked at going to Taft. You went to Taft. How was that experience at Taft? And listen, hockey being the main one, but you had to play 3 sports there. What were those 3 sports?
Yeah. I'm embarrassed to admit that I managed the field hockey team in the fall. I did hockey in the winter, obviously, and then it was really good. Our coach made us do track in the spring, so we ran the 400 and the 800, which was pretty cool.
If you're like me and you're going to play some golf this summer, you have to check out this hidden gem. Windmill Heights sits atop the beautiful hills in Notre Dame de Il Perot. They have affordable rates, and they offer customized membership opportunities for all levels. If you want to book a tee time, call 514-453-7177. Hit them straight.
Don, I was reading at one point you were like in between doing, because I'm still transitioning, so this is an important question for me and like kind of figure out what I'm doing, obviously, and making this work or whatever. But it said you were a Cadillac salesman at one point. Did you wear the suits? Did you wear the suits trying to sell the Cadillacs?
I established myself as the worst car salesman in the world. I was hoping I hope it would rain when it was my shift. So nobody would come. I was terrible. I remember a guy, and he says, "Oh, you car salesmen in life." And I grabbed him and I said, "Oh, there they are, eh?" And I knew and it's a funny thing. I was laying in bed, and as all hockey players have a nap in the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm laying in bed, and I said, I am a failure in life. I can't get a job. And I swear to God, and I don't say that, a voice came to me and said, "Get back into hockey." And I was and I got dressed, and I went down to see him, and he says, "Don, I was going to tell you today that you're not cut out to be a car salesman."
I'll tell it very briefly, but no surprise, Chris had probably already been in a fight with someone and was all fired up behind the bench. He's standing up there, he's pointing at this other player, swearing, the F-bombs are flying all over the place. And he's just preparing for the next shift when he's going to fight the guy practically. And that was back in the days where the family sat behind the bench, but there was no glass. And so my great uncle, who was 92 at the time, I think, he walked with a cane, and he took his cane and he poked Chris Nyland in the back with his cane and said, "You do not need to use that language on the ice, young man." And so whatever, the game went on, and then Chris actually came into the room, the director's room, with his stuff on after the game to apologize to Senator Hartland.
Yeah.
But it was really funny. It was the first time I've ever seen a player get poked by a cane.
Now, Tim, if you saw Senator Hartland Molson, you would look at him and be like, "Who is this guy?" Right? And very distinguished looking, the stash, glasses, beautiful suit on. And when I get poked, I'm like, who's jabbing me? I thought it was a teammate. Who the fuck is? And I turned around, it was him. I'm like, oh. I had the big gulp in the throat. But you lose that when you're on the bench. And we're just talking about rivalry. You don't think about who's behind you. You just don't. And there was no glass there. That was like Mr. Corey tells the story when the Queen and King were there from, I forget where, from somewhere over there. And I had some choice words that evening too. And it just, anyway, hockey's hockey.
It was a neat experience. That was when I first walked into my first NHL room. So I wonder, you guys probably had the same
little
feeling.
box. Did you have your little
my
box
little
in your
recorder?
microphone?
Yeah. So I was
Were you
like,
a
I've
Pekka
made it.
checker? Were you a Pekka checker?
Yeah, is that he did his interviews out of just
Was
right
he a
out of the
Pekka
shower.
checker stage?
Right out of the shower. He's just,
Yeah. Hey,
What are you
like
doing
this.
in here?
He's
Hey,
handing
what are you-
towels out, asking questions. Like, so-
Hey, by the way, good game last night.
Speaking of Wahlberg, his production team, I just did like an ultimate fighting on ice, a hockey thing. I don't know if you.
Yeah.
I met a bunch of his friends. I don't know if it was his production team, but definitely his friend. I mean, they had him on the horn there. I think him and Domi might be in on something, whatever it was.
Yeah, they're buddies.
Yeah. So I went down. These guys, I went down. It was ultimate fighting. Like the NHL alumni called me and said they want you to give you X amount of dollars to go down and get in this hockey fight. You know, we had gloves on, but it was a real hockey fight. It's been years, man. So it was wild. 4 rounds, a minute per round. I can't tell you who won.
And who do you fight?
I see
guy
this.
from fucking
It's fucked
Boston,
up.
man.
Yeah.
I fought a local from Boston. He was tough too. At least 10 years younger. But
on the ice.
Yeah.
On the ice with the gloves on.
Gloves on. No, only
boxing gloves?
Ultimate fighting gloves, not boxing.
Okay.
Ultimate fighting gloves. If your helmet pops off, time stops. If your knee hits the ground, time stops. So, and the jerseys were really loose, so it just ended up being this for fucking 4 minutes, man. It was wild. After the first round, can't really tell you who wins. You'll see it real soon. It's coming out soon. After the first round, I couldn't fucking believe it because this is what happened, okay? We get there. I don't really know. When they first called me to do it, I thought it was a commercial, and they wanted me to do it because I knew how to. I mean, there's now having been in this far in the stunts, I know where to put the cameras. I know how to do the stunts, right, to have the best. Like you put the camera behind your head on an angle, and you can miss me by a foot, and still, if the timing's right. So I thought it was that. That's what I thought. But about 3 days before, they're calling me, like, "Do you have your own doctor?" I'm like, "What the fuck do I need a doctor for?" That's what happened. So I got down there, and I went out to do this, and so I'm not prepared at all. I don't even have shoulder pads with me. Okay, so I get down there, and my opponent is in the room,
shadow boxing.
He's putting the fucking tape on. And I'm going, and this was where my mistake came. I'm thinking, I'm not putting tape on my hands and my wrists. Like, you know, I never did that before. Why do I need it now? But, so we get ready and we go out and we go to do our thing. The fucking smoke show, the round lady comes out, round one, everything. I come, and I'm thinking, at the very least, I know how to fight. So if he starts hammering me, I'll just pull a Darren Langdon and tie him up and fucking, you know, just get through. But the jerseys are so fucking elastic, and I don't have shoulder pads like an idiot, right? So I can't play that because like I'm coming out. So it's really punch and be punched, or there's no other route. But he's hitting me, and like I get a story in my second book. The top 3 times I've ever been punched. One was Ryan Vandenbush, one was Mark Morrow, and one was Trevor Gillies. There's fights. I'm not saying Doby doesn't have as good of a punch, but he just didn't hit me with one like that. I mean, straight on, like where, you know, you get sick to your stomach and take a breath. That's the 3 times. And this guy hit me off the bat, and each punch was like that. And I'm going, what the fuck? What have I lost? What? Cut. I'm in good shape. Yeah, cut. I'm going, it's after the round. I'm over there. If it had ended then, he would have fucking kicked the shit out of me. They were like, "Do you want it to stop? Do you want it to stop?" I'm over there, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like. And I realized, I'm like, man, I'm going to let everybody down. This show, my fucking daughter, I'm going to let all the old school guys down, right? All the old school guys that I fought are going to go like, you know, I got to at least go out and have a draw here. They're expecting me to win, so I can't quit. But I'm like, but I can because I've been paid. I can quit if I want. And I'm like, and I went, trainer who they got assigned. I don't have a guy. I don't have a corner guy. I don't have a doctor, right? Buddy got everything. But anyway, they come over in my corner, and my corner guys who have been assigned to me, Buddy just brought up YouTube, and he showed me like a couple of my fights, and he's like, you got to do this. I'm like, I'm just taking punches there the whole time. He goes, yeah, but that's what you got to do. Like, you're good at that. So then I realize it, and I'm like, but his punches are hurting so much. He goes, but the guy goes, that's why we told you to put the fucking, it's like cement, man. He's got his hand taped like a boxer. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Not only that, I forgot my mouth guard, and so so their mouth guard that they got me wouldn't fit. They got one at like the fucking sports craft store, and it's nothing. So I got knives in my mouth. Boom! I'm like, Jesus, I'm feeling that one. And the guy got a mouth guard in, and he's got his hands like they're cement. So I did it. I stood back and did it for 4 fucking rounds. I couldn't. It was just.
God bless
That is
you.
amazing.
God bless you.
Hopefully everybody's had their breakfast. But my first year, we all get dressed at the Halifax Metro Center.
Yeah.
We got to drive our cars over to St. Mary's University. That's where we're having our practice. Well, very small dressing rooms. You sit across from one another. I could tie your skates. You could tie mine. Anyway, like I said, we're just taking our skates, sticks, and helmet and, over. And so our captain, Billy Kitchen, shows up. And he's one of the last to show up in the dressing room. As he's walking by everybody, it's like, oh my God, what's that smell? And, just shit yourself and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he walks in and he goes and he puts his skate on. Well, he ties up the skate and all of a sudden there's something that comes out of the eyelid. And it's like, he gives it a wipe and gives it a sniff.
No.
Oh my good Lord. Somebody took the insole out of our captain's skates and shit in them. I thought, hang on a second here. This isn't right.
Not the captain.
And our trainer was Brian Pataffi. Now, we called him Spashman because he sort of sounded like this, eh? So anyway, he says right away, Kitch, I don't know who's shitting your skates, Kitch. I don't know who's shitting your skates. Well, you know who's shitting his skates because you're the trainer. And trainers know everything. So anyway, you know what happens. And this is the funny part, why the trainer even lets this happen. Billy takes his skate, takes it off, and throws it at Pataffi. Well, I don't know who's shitting your skates, Kitch. You know who's cleaning the shit out of the skates is Pataffi. So anyway, we're on the ice now, and it's like, where's Kitchen, John Brophy? Where the hell's our captain? Blah, blah, blah. I think Redsy, Dave Allison. He had a little problem, John. Somebody shit in his skates. And it was just like, what? So anyway, the door opens up, and here comes Billy Kitchen on the ice. He goes right across the ice, and boom. He cross-checks a rookie on our team who shit in the captain's skates. A rookie. Well, that rookie ended up going home the rest of the year. He had free sweatpants and free sweatshirts. He went home with short sleeve sweatshirts and shorts for sweatpants. Billy cut them every single day. He cut those shorts and T-shirts. It was just like, oh my God. A quick little story about Gretz. And he was just one of the most fabulous teammates, but one of those guys that, like, it didn't matter where you went. Somebody said, hey, there's Wayne Gretzky. There's Wayne Gretzky. I mean, he was the tops of tops, right?
Right.
So here we are. He's getting ready to go to San Jose for the All-Star game. So I said to him, we're last couple guys left in the room. I said, Gretz, why don't you go get your sticks and I'll give you a hand out to your car with your bag. He goes, right on, thanks, Screwy. And so anyway, well, he was in getting his sticks. I put a 25-pound weight in the bottom of his bag and I had already pre-signed 50 Brian Skrudland hockey cards. So I threw those all in his hockey gloves. So anyway, he comes out of the stick room. He says, okay, I'm ready to go. So I grabbed the sticks. He goes, what are you doing? I said, well, I'd give you a hand with your stuff, get out to your car. He goes, oh, okay. So he went to go pick up his bag now. Oh, geez. I said, well, you probably haven't picked up one of those since you were 10 years old. So he throws that bag on his shoulder, and away we go. So I get a phone call the next day, and Screwy, yeah, Gretz, how you doing? Yeah, good. He says, I just arrived in the dressing room. We had a 25-pound weight in front of my stall, 50 Brian Skrudland autographed hockey card. I just want to let you know that everybody participating in this year's All-Star game will get one of your signed hockey cards.
To look up to those guys, yeah, but none of them played like you. And the one that maybe did was Ken Lindsman, right? Ken Lindsman was the same type of guy. He could put up the numbers, and he was always a guy that when I was on the ice, you better have your head up. And I remember in New York, the first time I played against you, I forget what you said to me. He said, hey, where's your bucket? And I never heard that one before. And I said, what bucket? And you said, the one that carried a fucking puck, you said. I felt like, how fucking stupid am I to get sucked into that one? I never heard it. I mean, that little prank.
That's awesome.
You know what I want to do? I want to do like Chris and Lucien did in Joliet and bring the cup downtown Joliet. But this time, I won't do it like those guys. I won't steal it.
Yeah, remember that? It's funny. Were you?
Wait, what's the story?
I was there, right there beside them.
You were, huh? Now, listen, I didn't know at the time, but Tim, back when we won the Cup, Lucien Deblois, who I played with, a teammate, was from Joliet, where Dom is from. We had to take the Stanley Cup there that day under Molson. Molson, it was a Molson promotion. So we went and we stood and took pictures all day. And I said to Lucien, his dad was in a home not far from Joliet. He wasn't feeling well. He, was near the end of his life. So I said to Lou, I said, man, we'll never get this thing again. Let's steal it. We were there all day. So he went and got the car. I'm taking a picture. Smile. And they had 2 Pinkerton guards there, right? They got security there with it. And I took the last picture and I ran up the street. I threw it in the car and off we went. Went to see Lucien's dad. It was unbelievable. I'm telling you, Dom, unbelievable.
Those are just a few kind of thoughts I have around my best memories as a team.
I thought for sure you were going to say Mike Keenan. As I had him in Russia, and he was. So,
oh my gosh, that man wore me out.
Yeah.
He wore us all out.
He was crazy.
Oh my gosh,
it's funny.
Coming down to the rink when we were going through like a 2, 3 or more game losing streak, coming down to the rink, you're just holding your head in your hands going, what's he going to do to us today? Like, what's he going to pull today?
It's funny. Yeah. Tim said going over to Russia, he's over there, not many English speaking guys. And he figures Mike Keenan, the coach, we'll probably get along, right, Tim?
Yeah, and then he was full on 90s Iron Mike. And picture him doing what he's doing, and like no one understands what he's saying, like but me. I was like the only guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a really good point. Imagine Mike's antics, but you don't speak the language that Mike.
Everyone's
speaks.
just hey Tim, what he's saying? I'm like he's saying keep going. He's saying a lot of positive things, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So with Vino, to go a little further now, apparently you had to sit out 3 games. He announced that for disciplinary reasons. Excuse me. Take the fucking bubble gum out of my mouth. And it was supposedly over missing being late for practice. But he said, he contends, that wasn't the only thing. There's more to the situation than Shane O'Brien being late. What?
Yeah, you definitely were. Obviously, you were late.
What's the more?
You were obviously late. You started a podcast called Missing Curfew.
Yeah. No, so
obviously you were late.
Yeah. So, Knuckles, I love it, buddy. You're on the ball here. You're on the ball today, fella. So listen, Knuckles. I admit a lot when I came back to Vancouver. Listen, I was a single kid playing in a Canadian city on a good fucking team. All right, and I enjoyed every single second of it. And did I enjoy it too much? Maybe. But that's what motivated me to play hard and to fight and to compete and whatever. I enjoyed it. So me and AV, like I said, we got off to the first thing he said to me was what I told you about. I don't know much about you. Like, I thought, what the fuck is this guy, right? So our first year goes by, we lose to the Hawks. The second year goes by, things are going pretty well. And in his defense, we fly home from San Jose on a Saturday night, right? He gives us Sunday off. So we get in too late, Knuckles, that I can't go out on the Saturday night. So I get up Sunday. It's a beautiful day in Vancouver. It's not raining. I'm like, here we go, boys. Let's go hit the patios. So I go hit the patios. And we don't play till probably Wednesday or Thursday, but we do have practice on Monday. So I go hit the patios. And at that time, Knuckles, in Vancouver, like it or love it, I probably loved it. People recognized me, right? So I was bouncing around by myself at this point. The rest of the boys went home, the married boys. I'm bouncing around Vancouver by myself. And I'm going home, and I'm walking past the Roxy, and I said, you know what? I'll go in for one. Let's see what's going on in there. So I go in for one, and go home, fall asleep. Long story short, I don't plug my cell phone in, so my phone dies. I wake up, and I look at my phone, and when you're like, uh-oh. So I got to charge it, boys. I don't have a clock in the fucking house. Maybe I went to my TV. Maybe I turned my TV on. I'm like, oh, boy. So anyways, I scramble. My phone comes on. I call the trainer. I said, I'm on my way. I drive to the rink. I get there about 10 minutes before the boys are supposed to go on. So I'm putting my gitch on. I'm fucking running in there, and the trainer comes and he said, he doesn't want you to go out there. And I said, fuck him. Let me just practice. And then after practice, if he wants to fucking talk to me or fucking rip me, fine. Just let me go out there and practice with the boys. All right, I'm here. I can get dressed and get on the ice. He said, he's not going on. So he goes, go to the gym, get a workout. So I go in and get a workout, and Stan Smeal, he's a beauty. Steamer comes in, and he just kind of gives me a pat on the back. I said, fuck, you know. He said, so anyways, like you said about the media in Vancouver, obviously is huge, and they asked him about Shane O'Brien. And this is the problem I had. Like, you know what? If you're not happy with me, fine, but don't air out our dirty laundry. You know, he could have protected me in the media and then said, listen, Opes, we're going to say you have a fucking pulled groin. You're not playing the next fucking week. You know, I want you to lose some weight. Buries me in the media. They asked him like 10 times, you know, what's going on with Shane O'Brien? I'm not talking about Shane O'Brien. I'm not talking about Shane O'Brien. So suspends me, turns into a huge thing. Yeah. And you know what, Knuckles? After that, though, we had our best.
They don't let it go, right? They don't let it go.
They don't let it go.
No.
After that suspension, I came back and I had a talk with AV. It was the best talk we had in 2 years. And I said to him, why didn't we have this conversation a year ago? Why did it take this to finally, and our relationship's been great ever since that.
Wow, that's.
Were you ever late again in your career? I heard a story you told. Were you Grant Fuhr was your assistant? You were running. Tell that.
Yeah. So this is my first year pro hockey. Cincinnati. I'm playing for Cincy Knuckles, and we're playing in Salt Lake. And at this time, the Coyotes are in Salt Lake. That's their farm team. So the hotel was probably 2 football fields away from the rink. And this is just pregame nap. I used to be a heavy sleeper. Now, Knuckles, I'm up to take 4 pisses a night. I don't sleep, and I would have never been late now. I sleep right through my alarm. My roommate leaves me, and I'm like, the game's in like 30 minutes. So I wake up, I throw my suit on, and I'm literally running across the parking lot in Salt Lake City. And there's old Coco Grant Fuhr, and I fucking running by him. I'm like, hey, Fuhrsy, how you doing? He's like, don't worry, kid, could happen to anyone. And I'm just running in my suit. I'm like.
Tone, the first time we met in Boston, and Tim, this is back in the day when Knuckles was still juicing. I was still having fun, right, Tone?
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna show the picture now.
No, let me see if I see if I have it at my fingertips. All right, okay.
The draft was in Boston, and we were at a bar. A big pool hall. What was the name of that place?
The Rack.
The Rack. That's right. How can I forget?
Yeah.
Jim Vesey was part owner of that, my buddy Vise. And we're in there juicing, having a blast, couple of cocktails, running around nuts. And all of a sudden, this guy comes up to me out of nowhere and gives me I was the biggest fan of yours ever. I'm from Montreal. I'm like, okay. So anyway.
Funny. Here you guys.
Here is that evening. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I know I have that. Send that to me, Tony. I know I have it in my photos, but send it to me.
So can I? This is I see Nux there. I'm at the '99 draft. I'm a big hockey fan. That's the year of the Sedin twins, and I see Knuckles, and. You know, I said to him, I said, can I have a picture with you? He says, sure. So he walked probably about 10 feet. He went into, Nux, remember this? He went into the little pocket that he had in his suit, right? Went in, grabbed the teeth, put them in, and we took the picture.
Hey, well said. I don't have them all. You played, oh, fuck.
Oh, here he is.
Oh, here he is.
Gary.
I know I have to ask a question, at least one question, because
how did you know I was even finished yet?
I heard a nice pause. I heard a nice pause.
This is part
I was
one
just
of
waiting
this.
for Tim. No, go ahead.
This is part 1 of the documentary. No, go ahead, Barry.
No, Blake has had an unbelievable career. I think the most underrated career, almost a point a game. When I saw that, I couldn't believe it. So it's just
because you thought his name was Jack. No,
yeah, I know. I was looking for Jack all that time.
About it. Yeah, he's like hockey DB and Jack Wheeler.
Jack Wheeler is a fun player.
This guy sucks. He's not even in the fucking database.
Here was my test the last year, and Pat Burns was the coach. I got traded back here. And Burnsy called me the afternoon before the test, the day before. And he said, hey, you want to go for dinner with me? I said, sure, I'll go for dinner. Well, we went for dinner. And then we went out to a club afterwards called the Pacioretty Club. And we stayed there till 4 a.m. And I kept telling him, I said, I'm worried about the test. And Burnsy's like, I don't fucking care about the test for you. Yeah, you know, just go there and, you know, do one sit up, do one push up. Anyway, we had to skate a mile. And we did all the testing. Then the last thing we had to do was skate a mile. And I was skate with Carbonneau, who was my line mate for years. And I had just come back. And Cabo lapped me. And when he lapped me, I said, you know what? I think the end is near. And it was. That was my last season. So that was the extent of my test. And I thank Burnsy for burning me out the night before. Keep me out till 4 a.m.
You know what's fucking funny is when I went on Spit and Chicklets, I might have went a little overboard with some Russian stuff, and my agent called me, Russian agent, and he was just like, Tim, you not popular in Russia, right? Like basically saying like, what are you doing? And then I got a call, and I don't think we ever talked about this. And I'm not saying it was you. I just don't, I only have one friend that's an actor, successful one, but I got a call, Knux, and it was just like this amazing, perfect, like Russian English accent, and it was like a death threat. and I thought it was real, and I'm pretty sure, DB, it was you. I don't know if you're going to admit it, but I'm pretty sure
I thought you knew that a long time ago.
No, I think I did, but when you were just talking now, I'm like, wait a minute, I got to bring this up, and I wasn't planning on it, but that's pretty funny. It was really good.
Okay, I'm glad we cleared it up. I didn't want you hiding under the bed or anything.
No. It wasn't like I was moving my family. It wasn't that serious, but it was really good. I was like, man, who's called me? Someone's really pissed from Russia. And then I was like, wait a minute. And I figured, I think you did tell me. That's pretty funny.
I find you to be a nice guy. I didn't play for you, but I certainly would have loved to kind of find out on my own, because we look at a guy like Brian Noonan, who played for you, who seemed to follow you everywhere. You seem to have something going on with Noonan as far as you liking him as a player, or maybe he could be one of them guys that you could kick in the ass and he just keep going where other guys may crumble. Is there any truth to that?
I think the essence of it was that, it's very stern, and some people thought I was a prick. But I was a good prick.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening to the RawKnux podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.